Hi, so my name is Demindra. As you know, I did a introductory video before and I took it out because, well, I didn't take it out. It's in a private link at this time because I thought maybe I shared too much with the world. Yeah, I'm told to be very secretive. So I'm gonna go with that for now. But either way, I'm gonna bring you the content I want to bring to you. So the first thing I want to talk to you about are the purification methods towards light. Obviously, it's way too important not to say, so I'm going to talk to you about that. But however, I wanted to tell you why I want to talk to you about this. On my journey, I've met so many Christian people, so many Catholic, different backgrounds, and in between, I had been seeking, or I was part of Christ consciousness in somehow, and I ended up finding Christ consciousness. So because of my affinity towards Christ consciousness, at the same time, my wanting to purify my body, my mind, and my wanting for like my liking towards light in itself, I wanted to create this program. Wanted to create these teachings from Buddhist teachings in order to help you become more closer to light, no matter which background that you're coming from, which religious background. At the end, all religions are so man-made, and so my religion is love and light, and therefore my understanding towards love and light is what I want to teach. But however, I have to say I do definitely appreciate Buddhism because it gives you a method of way out, in my understanding, as a way to end this reincarnation cycle and to purify yourself, to stop rebirth because of this purification. So having those in mind, I'm going to tell you a bit about what I'm going to talk about first. So in Buddhism, we are told to, in order to purify yourself towards non-returning, or like towards end of reincarnation, you have to give up three things, and those are greed, hate, and delusion. So instead of greed, we are to cultivate, of course, generosity, and instead of hate, we should cultivate love. And instead of delusion, we have to cultivate seeing things as it is, or getting rid of misunderstanding and creating a little bit more proper understanding. So that is what Buddhism is basically in a nutshell. And then there are definitely a lot more into the path of what we call the eightfold path that is guided under Four Noble Truths. So that eightfold path will guide you towards nirvana, of taking out the reincarnation and attaining ultimate purification towards the light, pretty much stripping out all your attachments and really giving up all your attachment to the point that you're not attached to anything. You're pure consciousness in some ways, if you understand it that way, and you're non-attached. And if you attain certain enlightenment stages, you will be a never returner kind of thing. So that is what that Buddhist meditation is coming from. But so what I like about this is the purity of light that you can attain from certain stages of enlightenment. And this purity of light that you can attain is noble purification, because it's not just by hazard that you got that light. It is because you went through the path of cultivating generosity, cultivating love, as well as cultivating proper understanding. So that is the most important thing about this Buddhist meditation compared to anything else I've studied. So, but I'm not telling you to go embrace Buddhism. So that is why I wanted to share with you these few teachings that I really like in these Buddhist meditation techniques that I found in my journey so far, that has been super helpful to align me back with the light. So to start off, I'm going to talk about how to purify one's bodily actions. So in Buddhism, we divided this into bodily actions, and then we divided into verbal actions, and then we divided into mental actions. So first is our bodily actions, how to divide. I'm going to talk about that only in this one. So in order to purify your bodily actions, certain things that you must to do to align with yourself with the love and light are, for example, not killing or harming other beings using our body. So as you can see, it is definitely not, killing is definitely not aligned with light or love. So therefore you give up killing or harming. So instead of doing killing or harming, you spread love. So for example, that means you're opening your heart and including all beings as one. So therefore you're including animals as well, and any living creature that is that you can give out harming, you're including them in this. So that goes about saying. However, I have to put that into this too, that plants, they're in Buddhism, at least according to my teacher and from what I've asked and my answers so far, they do not contain the life organ or the life, yeah, it doesn't contain that life that animal or human would have, so it wouldn't be really killing plants. And though they have certain adaptations, they don't have exactly that life, because nobody can be reincarnated as a plant, you know. So with that in mind, probably plants are not supposed to be we are killing. They bear fruit for us and we eat them, and for me that seemed okay for us to sustain. So definitely I would not harm or kill animals. And number 2 is not stealing what is not given, or not taking what is not given. So another way to look at this is like how you're harming another being or another person by your action. So for example, if you're taking something that is not yours, you're probably taking somebody else's wealth that they have worked so hard to achieve. So that is probably not a great thing at all. So you can imagine yourself in their shoes. If somebody took, let's say, even stole your purse or something like that happened, stole your jewelry or something, you probably lost so much of your money or so much of your wealth, and you'll be very sad about that. So imagine if you don't want that to happen to you, you don't want to do that to another person. So saying that you definitely don't want to take what is not given to you or steal. And it also means you're getting rid of greed. So one of those first 3 things that we talked about. So getting rid of greed means also you're detaching in some ways your attachment to the physical material, whatever that you're trying to steal. So this is really good because you're actually affirming to yourself at the same time, you can have this for yourself and you can take this for yourself. You don't have to steal. So which is a very good thing too. And so now you have detached, you are actually a bit more in the light and the love, and so therefore your vibration is higher, so you're closer. So you can see how detachment and giving up greed and not stealing brings you closer to light. And then number 3 of our physical purifications is not engaging in sexual misconduct. Though I see it as sexual misconduct, I see it a little bit more. Because if you want to really purify yourself, you can look in more than just sexual nature. It could be anything that has to do with our body. So it could be all our 5 senses that we have, right? So even if it is touch, taste, or sight, hearing, or the smell. So you can all look at all those 5 senses and then detach your attachment to it or over pleasuring it to the point that even somebody might be harmed. Like for example, with the sexual misconduct, it is considered as misconduct if you end up actually taking it too far to the point that you might harm another person, especially a person who's not able to give consent properly. For example, it could be having sex with a minor who's not able to give consent, or a mentally disabled person, a person who's vulnerable, or who is living under somebody else's protection. Now you can see they are not the people who are able to give consent to you. So if your desires are way too much, and you might take it too far, and you might be harming that person mentally or sexually, who knows what. So that is why it's important to not engage in sexual misconduct. And for myself, I see it as, like I said, sensual misconduct, or just being attached to your senses way too much. So you can cultivate detachment from all your sense faculties in that sense, if you wanted to take a little bit towards more towards the light. So it's really up to you to how much you want to detach, and it's really up to you. So, but I have to say, this detachment also comes from the understanding, or a deeper realization, or a deeper understanding that all these senses or nothing of this nature is lasting. And so with that deeper understanding, you would see how futile it is to get attached to these sensors. So in that understanding, or in that sense, we are giving up our attachment to our sexual needs or sexual obsession, let's say, and sensual obsession to the point that we might actually harm ourselves or somebody else. So that way we are actually detaching. Also, that goes under the concept of delusion, because we understand that this is not important, or this is not worth grasping into. So there you go. We looked at 3 things that are listed for purification in bodily actions, which are not killing, not stealing, and not engaging in sexual misconduct, or if you want to take it a little bit deeper, sensual overpleasure, let's say. So yeah, that is the way to stay attached, well, detach from purify your physical actions so you can achieve light more. And it becomes cultivating love and cultivating generosity and cultivating proper understanding and getting rid of delusion, for example. Perfect. I hope that made some sense, and I will try to put the original link of these teachings in the description. Thank you so much.